Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to yet another episode of the Two Words Moms Show. It's your girl A4 right here, and today, hmm, I don't even want to go into details yet because right from biblical times, okay, the prehistoric times, all we've known about women is that they've been homemakers, they've been caretakers. Somewhere in the late 80s and coming on into the early 2000s, women decided to also join the workforce. Now we have women who are doctors, we have nurses, we have engineers, we have hairdressers, we have beauty artists, and it's been wonderful. Today I have one such woman, a whole powerhouse, a full force with me here in the studios to discuss how these women are balancing both motherhood and their career. Now, this show is proudly brought to you by Cocados, your number one health cuisine in Takrady. Now, Cocados has salads, detox packages, smoothies, Greek yogurt, parfait, granola, wraps, sandwiches, juices, and the famous bougie Burkina, aka Brooks. Call or text Cocados on 0541 022 896. Appearance trendy wardrobe and kitchenware are also one of our major sponsors. They have microwaves, kitchen stands, non-stick saucepans, rice cookers, air fryers, blenders, kettles, burners, dinner sets, chafing dishes, lunch bowls, water bottles, etc. They also have kids dresses, corporate dresses, casual dresses, outing dresses, and church dresses. They have men's shirts, khakis and jeans, trousers, shorts, etc. They do nationwide delivery. You can call or WhatsApp them on 0208 759 436. So today, I am personally excited about this topic, and I hope you are too. Don't forget to send in your questions and your comments right here on YouTube, or if you're watching us on Facebook, please leave your questions and comments in the comment section. Now, I'm so tempted to call you mommy on this show, but I can't call you mommy on this show.
Maybe.
This is, I don't know whether I should use Mrs. or Lady. Which one are you
I'll leave
comfortable
it to you to decide.
We have here with us in the studios Lady Rejoice Akorfa Crankson. She's my pastor's wife, also. She's my mommy in the Lord. So I'm tempted to call her mommy, but I have to be professional and all that. So welcome, Lady Akorfa
Thank you.
Crankson.
Thank you.
I'm so honored to have you here
Thanks for
today.
having me too.
I know that, I was telling you the other time we were speaking that the first day we spoke, I knew that you are a full force.
Thank you.
And I'm so honored
Mm.
to have you here with me. We are going to talk about balancing motherhood and career, and you are
Mm-hmm.
one strong example for every young woman. I don't want to say how do you do it,
Mm.
but honestly, how do you do it?
About that.
Because you have
About
four
that.
kids. Yes,
Yes.
yes. Let me just quickly come to you. She's an HR expert. She's a trained counselor, and then she has four kids, and she's married, and she's helping her husband to manage an entire congregation. So now you have a fair idea what I'm talking about. Uh-huh. So, mommy, tell us, how do you do it before we go into any other thing?
I I I I would have to say it's grace
Mm,
because just giving me the topic and thinking about it, it never occurred to me like seriously this is how big this thing is.
mm,
It never occurred to me. We just do what we have to do and kept going. So it's God's grace. Looking at where I started from where we are now is simply grace.
mm.
It's a lot of work. We'll go into it, but then it's
Yeah.
grace.
So, did you always know you were going to be a career woman right from childhood? Or, when we're growing up, we see examples. Did you
Yes.
think, for me, I want to be married to Odogu, a rich man, and
Mhm.
stay home every day? Or you always wanted to go out there, work, fend for yourself?
I knew I will be out there. I
Okay.
knew I'll be out there because one, my mom was out there. She was busy. She was
Mm.
a businesswoman, going, buying, selling. I was doing that as well alongside school.
Mm.
And when I see women, with the careers going up and down like that, I see myself. I admire it. And it's
Mm.
beautiful. I just
Mm.
couldn't wait to. I eventually would trace the steps of some of them when they walk past where
You
I
don't
live and
say.
just walk through the steps like that. So I was looking forward to it.
Oh.
Yes.
What influenced your choice of career being in HR? What influenced it?
Well, HR, I really wanted to go into music, eh? Seriously,
Eh?
you can't believe it, right?
Can you sing?
Music and acting. That was what I really wanted to go into. But back in the days, I remember just getting instruments, guitar here and there. But
You got them.
yes, getting one and then trying and practicing and all that. But I couldn't balance my time with learning very well because this
Hmm.
is what I love. And that's when my dad had to step in, stop
Hmm.
the person who was teaching me. It's not like today where we have that opportunity
Yes.
and exposure to parents to understand the need to
Yeah.
groom the side. So I get to go off that and have to concentrate on learning, 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 learning. So HR for me, I love to work with people. I
Hmm.
love to work with people. And going into administration, initially management, and then later the HR position coming into place, then I said, why not? It's also got to do with people.
Okay.
So I diverted into that, went for further studies, and then that's how HR. I didn't have HR in mind straight from the word
Okay.
go. So
Okay.
it was in administration, management, and then HR came up, and then I navigated my way into it.
Hmm.
Yes, it was a challenge picking that up at a point, but I embraced it and I went into
And
it.
you are glad you did.
I'm glad I did. It's just the conflict side of HR that has to do with something else, but you get to learn
Hmm.
the different types of people and working with people.
Hmm.
And outside the profession, you get to carry that knowledge with you as well.
Hmm.
Because in the church, it's people, in the home, is people
Yeah.
everywhere. So you get to balance it very well. So I'm glad I
So
did.
whatever it is you're learning
Yes,
as a career woman, it's helping you
yes,
at home and then at church with
yes,
managing the congregation.
yes.
Hmm. So I want to ask you, at which point you have 4 kids?
Hmm.
Were you working before you started having kids?
Yes, I was. No, the first, no. Yes, I was working, I got married.
Okay.
Yes, I was working before I got married.
So
So
during
the
the
first,
pregnancy, you
yes,
were still working.
the first one I wasn't. The
Okay.
subsequent ones I was.
So yeah, so the second, third, fourth.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's where the real hustle began.
Mm-hmm.
How was it? How was it combining, you know, having kids and
Mm-hmm.
working? How was the experience for you?
From pregnancy, it was challenging, and then to delivery and early childhood. Those young stage, and then the toddler stages and all that. Combining it to me wasn't easy one because my mom is not alive.
Okay.
I don't have aunties where I am.
Mm.
I don't have close families where I am.
When you say where you are,
I am in Takrady now.
okay,
Okay,
because
I grew
so
up in
marriage
Tema.
brought you
Yes,
where you are, and you don't
yes,
have family
here
around.
in
Okay,
Takrady.
all right,
So if it was back in Tema, I'll say I have more hands
okay,
around there. So finding myself around a place like that, it wasn't that easy. Okay, but initially I got the help I needed. It's not like today that you have the Montessori's and the childcare, so many
yeah,
like that. No, I didn't get that. So that was very challenging for me. I remember even the second one having to send him to a place where they were now starting,
the
okay,
school.
with that school. They
Mm.
were now starting. And I realized after some few months that he was so quite reserved,
Mm.
wouldn't interact and all that. There was something that was off.
Mm.
Okay, somebody also drew my attention to something. And One day I was at work, I said, you know what, let me go at an unusual time
Hmm.
that is not the time they were expecting me to be around to pick my child. And it broke me down when I got to the school
What happened?
because he was all by himself, seated in a canopy
Oh,
somewhere. And it broke me down. I picked him up. The only reason they got to even know was that I was looking for his bag. Yes, they hadn't
what?
even realized somebody
That's how
has. Yes,
neglected they
yes.
had. Oh,
So you can imagine the guilt I had to carry
yeah.
picking him. I didn't even know whether I was going to work straight with him because I was just stuck. I was just doing a visit,
This is your
and
first
then
child.
that's the second. The first I did
Okay.
about 2 years at home,
Okay.
take care of him
Hmm.
before he started school. So this is the second one. So you can imagine that challenge for me going back and now in the middle of nowhere, now have to find some way, somehow I needed to keep up my career or the work I was doing, and I needed immediate help with that. And so imagine that challenge until I had to figure a way temporarily and then going forward. So it has been here and there, but then God's grace, I had to learn alongside it,
Yeah.
getting help here and there.
Yeah.
And career too is demanding. I remember I had to get to work at 7,
Hmm.
and by 5, sometimes when you pick your bag, it's as if, are you the only one with
Who has
kids, or you know
kids?
what?
Yeah.
You also want to make sure that your records are good.
Hmm.
And so you want to be seen as, the one that doesn't rush the first person to leave the office,
Hmm.
because you want to make sure that, yes, you do extra hours to make sure things are done. That challenge was also there, and getting home, balancing with it. It's I don't know how, but that was
You pulled
challenging.
through.
Yes.
When you were speaking right now, you spoke about, the day you saw your son,
Mm-hmm.
you felt guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is something I am personally
Mm,
dealing with
mm,
now.
mm.
I have three boys myself,
Right.
and I recently enrolled the little one in school
You did.
just this week
You did.
because this show, it may seem small, but a whole lot goes into it, and
Mm,
I feel like I need a few days within the week to put myself together and be able to
okay.
bring the show to my viewers. And
Mm,
I've been feeling guilty even before him. The first two, I've been dealing with a lot of guilt. Even previously, some years back when I started having kids, I was still in school, and the guilt was really there.
mm.
Did you ever feel that? And if you did, how did you cope?
I did, like the example I even just
Yeah.
gave you. Um, Later on, it looks like I really then focused, and now focused on realizing what was happening to him, and ask myself, why didn't I realize that early and
Mm,
quickly? And then the fear of the implication on his growing stages,
mm,
all the way. So I had that challenge I was battling with daily, taking care of him, going up, and then coming back and all that. So the guilt had been there. It's been there. I pray about it. I learn about it. I read about it. I try to correct it.
mm.
I try to
How
correct it.
how do you
I
try to
try
correct it?
to I try to make good use of the little time I get to have with him, in the
Okay.
morning before work, after work, my weekends.
Mm,
I had to learn to say no to some other things that
mm.
I would have to be present, be there just to spend some time
With
with
him.
them, because I wanted to make up for the lost time. And so I had to readjust my schedules like that alongside. Is the guilt that I had to carry, blaming myself that I should have known better. I should have be able to read the signs and all that. But I think I've grown over the years to
Okay.
understand that, look, you are not an everyday mom. You Motherhood is a full role on its own.
Mm,
It's a full role. If you have a stay-home mom, it's a full role on its own. And it's not just the role, the care, but the emotional, psychological, mental health, finance of the child, upbringing, and it's a lifetime thing.
mm.
Taking up a career is a full one on its own. and you have that role, that expectations to meet,
Mm.
and you have to do both simultaneously.
Yeah.
And that realization should let me understand that, look, girl, you may have missed it a little bit, but you're not a bad mom.
Mm.
You're
I
not.
needed that.
You're not a bad mom. Why are you out there doing what you're doing? It's at the end of the day for them, at the end of the day for you,
Mm.
because this is what makes you feel and know who you are. It
Mm.
brings you this kind of fulfillment.
Yeah.
When your mental health, your emotional health, and your physical health is intact, they get to enjoy it positively as your
Mm.
children. When you break down emotionally, psychologically, and all that, they get that as well. What brings you that balance? What you're
Mm.
doing today is bringing you that balance, that joy. So I had to understand that me going to work was a need for them financially to help them, going back to school, clothing, support what my spouse was doing.
Okay.
And so there was a need for me to do that. I don't have all the help, but what help do I have available? So I had to look at what I have available and then make good use of it, tap myself on the shoulder,
Mm.
and cry when I have to cry, love and do my
Okay.
best when I have to do that, and see what I can do to keep my mental health good and keep going.
We'll come to mental health.
Yes.
I would really love for you to, go in depth. But
Mm,
then, still on the mom guilt.
mm.
Have you ever regretted? I mean, now your last child is
It's 10.
10.
Yes.
Our little madam, she's 10. So it means your first child should be older
It's 20, yeah.
now. Have you ever, regretted that this child turned out a certain way? I wish I wasn't working. I
Mm-hmm.
wish I stayed home
Mm-hmm.
to, spend more time and have more influence on the way they turned out. Have you ever
I did.
felt that way?
I did. I did not. I did with the first one a little bit. I did with the second one more.
Mm,
I did with the second one more. And I think I've done better, if I would say, with the third and the fourth
before.
because of the first two. Okay, because um, when I realized that this is what the challenge has been for me, I had to sit back a bit and then rethink it through because the weight was too much on me.
Mm,
Psychologically, I was going up and coming, but I was carrying that weight. I cried about it a lot of times. It made me miss not having a mom around
oh.
to help, especially when I get to see other friends who have their mom
Moms, yeah.
in there and being there for them, so to do whatever they're doing. And I appreciate the help I got here and there with other support I got. But then that guilt, as of today, even sometimes it brings tears to my eyes.
Mm.
But I had to get to that point where I had to understand that, look, God trusts me enough to give me these wonderful
Ooh,
children. He
that's
did.
wonderful.
With all my imperfections, He
Mm.
did. With all that I missed, He still did trust me enough with them.
Mm.
And I have given myself so much a kind of a marking scheme that is
Standard.
so up there
Mm.
that I need to understand that, look, I'm not a bad mom. I've done the best with what I could do when I had to do what I
Mm.
did.
Mm.
I may have missed a few, but I can still, and I still do have time to do what I can do best. Trust God with what I couldn't do well and enjoy the rest of my life with His children. I have to do that. If not, I will not find what I need to see and be grateful. But I'll
Yeah.
dwell on what makes me so heavy. And what can I do about it? It's past. But what I have today is today. I
Mm.
have tomorrow.
Mm.
I'll just concentrate on that. Trust God's grace. Appreciate myself for what I've been able to do and keep going. Does that stop that voice from not coming? It does. But I don't allow it to control me anymore.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't. I don't. And then I make sure that I do what I can do now. Okay. Because at a point, even with I think the last year I went back to school with HR. I had to go back and then school again. And then I was
Hmm.
doing everything I
With
was
the
doing.
last one.
Yes, the last one.
Okay.
Okay. I did that. I was schooling even with the third one, pregnant with this boy through exams, delivered, will
Wow.
go and be a lecture hall, come out, breastfeed, go back and do all that. I did.
How who? No, I am confused right now. Who was helping you
Oh,
to?
my husband was helping.
So he would go with you to.
He will go with me to do that because at the time I couldn't even get to have anything squeezed down. So he would come and give me a call, and then he's around, and then I'll go and do that
Breastfeed.
breastfeed, and then come back to the
Wow.
lecture hall, and then I managed through like that. So it was just the two of us. So imagine when he gets busy.
Yeah.
Thank God for a family friend who would be like, bring your children to me
Mm.
and pick them when you're back. And she was she's been, and still the kids have grown still with
You
her.
become like a
Yeah,
godmother.
she is.
Wow.
So that helped, really helped me a lot. But like I said, the guilt is something you battle with, especially when you know what you want to do with your children, and still things didn't turn the way you want them to
Mm.
turn. You have to keep adjusting, keep adapting. Don't get stuck in something. So when I was schooling, I was doing radio a little bit because my passion for counseling. But then I realized the pressure on the kids, myself, the demand, and my own psychological state was too
Mm.
much. I
Mm.
love what I was doing, but I had to weigh the school, the kids, work, everything, and say something have to be dropped here for now.
Mm. For
What
now,
for now?
temporal.
What has to be dropped? It was a very hard decision. I had to drop the radio. I had
Oh.
people's like, oh, I really help. This show really helps me a lot. Marriage counts and all that, but I had to do that.
Mm.
After school, I gave myself some time, and then I've gone back.
Now you've
But
gone
I've
back.
gone back looking at a different time, not late into the night, early morning, that I can still make time because I really want to do better with this,
Mm.
the last few, and then also with even the grown ups. Still, I want to
Yeah.
do my best. So, like I said, you have to keep adapting, adapt, adjust, and then also understand that you're not a super mom. You are doing your best. You are a super mom, but you are not. Don't create this perfection for yourself, so that you find fulfillment, joy, and happiness, and still not neglect, but do your best with them.
Hmm. Saying you're not a super mom. Some people really want to be super moms. I don't want to be a super mom. Please. I don't have superpowers. In fact, the fact that I'm a mom alone means I'm super mom enough. I don't
It's
even
a
want to
super
add
mom.
extra. But I want to ask the guilt, do you think it's both ways? Some people feel guilty for leaving their kids home and working. There has been a point in my life that I have felt guilty for not using my God given talents and concentrating on my kids.
Mm,
And I was shocked. And in fact, that guilt even made me more guilty. I don't know whether you understand.
I
The
do.
fact that I was even feeling guilty about about going out to work made me feel more guilty that why am I even not thinking about my kids? Why am I now thinking about, not using my talents? Because I know that there is more to me. Like you were saying, I wasn't only meant to come and be a mom. I can do more. I don't know whether, well, because you are working, it may not have happened to
Mm,
you, but do you
mm.
agree? Would you agree that it can be like that? It's not only the mom guilt, it can also be career guilt.
It can even with the work, yes, I carry that as well, because
Oh,
yes, you're doing work, you're bringing something home and all that, but you're also feeling guilty that there is other things to me. Even when I talk about HR, other things to me that I really want to pursue, but I cannot do that because the demand will be too much.
Mm.
And I still have that guilt like this is my God given gift and is on the shelf because of the demands of the children and combining it with work. But then that is where we have to understand that there are seasons, even as mothers. There are
Mm.
seasons. There are seasons when it comes to new moms. There are seasons when it comes to the toddler stages. There are seasons when it comes to the preschool ages, and then when it comes to the adolescent, and even the empty nest when they are grown and leave. Oh,
Mm.
there is a
That's
host
also,
conversation on its
yeah.
own. Yes, because you need to rediscover yourself. What's next into my life? I've poured all into the kids. What's next? If you don't take care, you can get depressed at that
So it
stage.
means it also goes to say that if you don't
Yes,
do something with yourself now
yes,
when they're kids,
yes,
you'll
yes,
feel very,
yes,
out of this world when they leave.
yes. At the end of the day, when you understand that there are seasons, okay,
Mm.
then you understand. But the complications is this: we have like the early age,
Mm.
the new mom, we have the toddler, we have the adolescent, because we have different ages depending on the number of kids we have. So
Mm.
you are combining sometimes, like the example you gave,
Yeah,
you are combining different seasons at the same time. And if you don't understand that, it will make you look as if you are not meeting something. You are doing
exactly.
so much.
Exactly.
It is not one season. You are combining different seasons
Hmm.
at a goal. Okay, so that demand is there, but it depends on you and what arrangement you have in your life and with your spouse. That if this is it for me, somebody can say, look, I'm devoting the next 5 years, 10 years to this for them to get it to a certain stage, and then I will pick up what I want to do in terms of doing this alongside. So personally, what is it that you want? Where are you going in life? What is your dream? What is your current situation? Somebody ended up being a single mom, for instance. Okay, you
Okay.
have priorities, you have dreams, you have plans, but what is the reality? Where have you found yourself? Okay, then you can now settle in and understand that this is where I found myself. This is of this age, that is of that age. This is what I want to do. Okay, but I can take up only this at this time. Once I'm taking this at this time, how do I navigate into their life that I don't feel I've neglected that fully and carry that guilt with me? So you combine it such that if there's help I need within these hours that I'll be away, let me get that help. Whilst I'm away, how do I check on them whilst I'm away? When I come back, how do I catch up on them so that I can feel myself in and understand that I have not totally left this for this, and then not abandon who I am, who I'm called to be, for motherhood. And trust me, is an investment. Is an investment that when they get to a certain stage, you'll be glad you gave them that time.
Mm.
What will it cost you to have everything and they get to a certain stage and realize you missed out so
So
much,
many important
and the
things.
correction is so difficult and sometimes looks impossible. Okay, you'll be fulfilled but probably more miserable.
Mm.
So there is the need to balance it
Mm.
very well,
Mm.
and
Mm.
that's why I love the topic, because
Yeah.
it is a daily challenge.
We will definitely come to you give us special tools on balancing
That
because you've been killing it for like more than 20 years,
Grace
right?
20.
Ooh, exactly 20 years.
Thank you,
You've been
sis.
balancing career and motherhood.
Yeah.
But you see, let's talk about mental health. Being a mom alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This morning, I had to wake up at dawn,
Right.
cook for the older ones to go. And then later, took care of the younger one, drove him to school, came back, got ready. Motherhood in itself, it's a whole wahala on its own. That leaves a very high level of mental,
Mm.
issues on us as women.
Right.
Career,
Mm.
office drama, office wahala, your bosses, even when you are the boss. I mean, you have issues with your subordinate. How are you combining this on one hand? and this on one hand, and still being able to, be mentally stable. What would you advise? How are you doing it? And what kind of advice are you, giving out to young women
Mhm.
who are here and here and want to make sure that their mental health is also a priority?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, like I said, first of all, it's been grace for me. When I talk about grace, the reason I say that is the secret place I go to get my
Mm,
head straight
mm,
is that I spend that time prayerfully, even if it's the middle of the night, even if it's dawn.
mm.
I need that to keep me going. This is
Okay.
so much that you've just described, okay? And you're one person.
Yeah.
And when I get to spend that quality time in worship and prayer, um, I just breathe in. I
Mm,
kind of carry my guilt, my imperfection, my fears. Yes, because you have a fear of how am I facing this situation at work or this thing ahead of the kid in school. I carry everything and then I leave it. I have a place where I can leave it in prayer
mm,
and pick up what the word, the promises of God says about Him helping me.
mm,
And then I pick that and then I breathe it in. I carry that for the day to start daily. When I begin to lose it, then I know I'm too busy and I'm missing out on that intimate time I have with God. That is my number one secret place.
mm,
I don't, I don't, I don't. Maya Angelou said, have a place where you keep a boundary,
mm,
and that is safe for you, and nobody crosses there.
mm.
And that is for me because that is my secret place with God.
Your family respects that.
Yes, and I don't. I like it in the quiet, so I make sure everybody is
It's gone.
gone, sleep, everything, and then I have that moment.
Okay.
Yes, even my husband knows it. Yes, because it's what even keep my head straight to be even a wife as well. It's a whole
In
role
the
on its
first
own.
place.
Yes, so what you can do as a mother, and we've been doing, is that you set your priorities.
Okay.
You set your priorities. I had to learn to say no. I can't be at certain places because I can't combine or handle that at the time that I had. I can't. We have to know ourselves, know what I can't just add on now. We can't say yes to everything, be everywhere. No, you have to set your priorities and set your boundaries.
Hmm.
You have to set your priorities and set your boundaries. Let somebody understand that, look, I love you so much. I really wish to be here, but you know what? From work, I have to pick up the kid. I have to do this and do this.
No, they
Let me
don't even
know what
understand
I can
you.
do, but I cannot. You see, people, that takes me to my next point where
Yeah.
you need to communicate clearly.
Okay.
Communicate clearly. Let your boss know. I understand. I had a boss like that, and I said, "Look, I appreciate you, mentoring me in this area and the demand and the way
Yeah.
praising me and all that. I cannot work on weekends.
Was
It's
it a
not
male
our
boss?
yes. It is
Okay.
not our official working hours. Yes, I have to come, but if there is anything, please let me have it and do it during the weekdays when I can do it. It is too much on me. I can't. Communicate it clearly.
Hmm.
Let a person understand respectfully.
Okay.
When it comes to other demands, communicate clearly. See how best you can, depending on the child's age, whether they are older and all that, whether it's school, get their teachers' numbers, you communicate clearly what's going on so that you feel yourself in here and there.
Okay.
And then prioritize your own time. Prioritize your own time.
How do
Have a
you do that?
schedule.
Yeah.
Have a schedule. Understand, especially when they're young like that,
Yeah.
they kind of as if they are controlling your schedules for you. They
Yes.
control
Yes,
it.
that is so true.
Yes, they do. But you see, they also need you to have that balance
Okay.
because like I said, it's complicated when you have a number of kids because they are different seasons we're
Yeah.
talking about,
Mm-hmm.
different ages. So you are kind of intertwined between a lot of things. So if you don't prioritize you, oh, trust me, you will never have any time for you.
This is so true.
You will
This
never
is
have
me
it.
right now.
You see, but if you understand that is also a season,
Hmm.
you don't let it overwhelm you. And some of the strategies I put in place is my me time is what I do with that. My me time where I get to soak in those songs, pray, worship, pick up those psalms. My
I mean, so yeah,
Okay, so I was saying that if I lose it,
yeah.
I get to lose it out on everybody. I get to lose it out on
Oh,
everybody. I scream. I'm helpless. I feel overwhelmed. I'm
yeah,
broken, and
yeah.
it's too much for me. So I need to prioritize my me time, my emotional, my psychological, my mental health.
Hmm.
I broke down. I've gone through the breaking down stages. Oh,
Yeah.
I did,
I think we
I
should
did.
talk a little bit about that. But what was your worst, you know?
My worst moment was I think when I had challenges at work,
Okay.
and then I get home and I realized that the kids too were having personal challenges from school to sibling fights
Okay.
to all that, and especially when my husband at the point had to go for further studies and was not there, and it
Hmm.
was now just me and them,
Hmm.
and I have to get them where I have to get them to dash to work, come back. You are your mechanic in case the car stops on the way.
Oh
You have
my
to call
goodness.
here and there. When you are home and this bulb is gone off, you need to get some. You're doing everything
Yeah.
and combining it with it. At that point, I got to that point where I lost it at a point. And the worst of all was that because I was so overwhelmed and I was schooling. I think that was when I was schooling as well.
Yay.
I added school to it. And at a point, my grades were not, my GPA was not adding up, especially with one course, statistics, that
Hey,
entered my course that
statistics.
it has nothing to do with what I wanted to do,
Exactly.
but it's part of the package. And I had to get extra tuition for it. Look, I was just like, why did I even bring this on myself? Should I just forget everything and just concentrate on work and then home? And why?
Hmm.
So I broke down.
Hmm.
But when you break down, it doesn't stop you from being a mother. It doesn't
Yeah.
break down, it doesn't stop you from still showing up at work.
Hmm.
So life still have to
Go
continue
on.
with your breaking down and managing it. And unfortunately, because I got too busy, my special moment, my me time where I can wake up middle of the night or that quiet time I used to have, I
Yeah.
was skipping it.
Okay.
And because I was skipping it, I was carrying my extra load.
Because we're not leaving them at the
Yes,
foot of the
yes,
cross.
yes. I was so tired. I sleep. By the time you realize it's morning and you have to be on the run. So I was beginning to miss out on that. When it finally came on me like that,
Yeah.
oh, I did break down. I did break down. At the point I wasn't going to church.
Mm.
I could just cry and cry for just crying. I felt so guilty. I felt so lost.
Mm.
I felt so inadequate,
Mm.
so unqualified. You
Mm.
know, some point it was that kind everything about my life. How on
Mm.
is that it? So what happens to my dreams? I
Yeah.
felt lost,
Mm.
and that moment, I just thank God for the grace. It was a period and a season on its own.
Wow.
Yes.
So I can totally relate to everything
Mm,
you're saying. I think
mm,
this is you are out of it, but this is currently what I am going through,
mm,
and it can be very, very overwhelming. Very, I cry. I mean, people will see us, oh, this lady, she's bubbly, she's always happy, but nobody ever knows what goes on in your closet. I cry, and then I'm like, is that it? Is this life? I mean, this is not the future we foresaw when we were kids. and we were telling our friends that will be this, will be that. Somehow motherhood came in, and then everything seems to be on a standstill. So besides, you going to your secret place and letting go, somebody like me, I'm a breastfeeding mom. I think because now your kids are grown, you have some liberties. Should I call them liberties though?
Hmm.
Some, some free time, like in the nights like this, they
Yes.
can easily sleep.
Yes.
I am breastfeeding.
Yes.
Yeah, I can still pray and all that, but I may not have that much of me time.
Mm-hmm.
So for such moms, what would you tell them? How would you advise them to prioritize their mental health? What other ways can they
Yes.
use?
Get help. When you need to get help, get help.
Okay.
Get help because you can't do it all on your own.
Mm.
You can't. It is so difficult. Get help. Appreciate the help that comes, even if it comes handy, if it's come fully. If it's like some people, like I mentioned, have somebody with them full time,
Yeah.
appreciate that help. Let that help you very well, the best way they can help you.
Mm.
Okay, make good use of those help. Today we have some very good care givers, okay,
Yeah.
schools that have been created. Make good use of those opportunities. When you are home or you are a stay-home mom and all that, look at your time, look at your baby, understand your schedules,
Mm.
and work around it. Don't be stuck in it in this way. When the kids, when their seasons change, change with it, adapt with it. So if for instance this is the time the baby sleeps, this is the time you also get to rest a little bit or do that, do it. When you have to leave something until later, you do that, leave it,
Mm.
because you are probably having to do dishes, do that, and then you have the time you need to sleep a little bit, then baby is up.
Mm.
So you don't get any time to rest.
Mm.
When you have to do some of the dishes and do this later, do what you can do, leave the rest later. If somebody comes complaining, please give me a hand or help me here. Or if there is nothing like that, let me do. See, we can't sometimes try to be so perfect and it can be too hard
That
on
is
us.
it. But you see, the kind of society we live in
Yes.
always points fingers, and now we end up pointing the fingers at our own selves because we're the society. We are the society. People come to your house and they judge you. I've personally had that. For me, it's I think it's quite recently that I've been able to get a hold of things.
Mm,
But in the past, people come to my house and then they'll judge me. So now, if anybody's coming to my house, I have to, hurry and clean up, even if it's not on my schedule to do that, because of what somebody will say or what I fear somebody will go out to say about me. I have to quickly do whatever it is I want to do.
mm, mm.
So it's
I
society or it's us. Like how
it's
how do we get over this?
it's us because the reason I say is that, like I told you, that boundary is there for me.
Hmm.
That boundary is there for me because you are not in my shoes.
Okay.
I have to know me. I have to know what I can take on.
Okay.
You I'm not going to be neglectful, I'm not going to be that a mess, but you see, if you want to complain, can you please convert that thing to
To
helping me
help.
a little bit here? I will appreciate it so much. If not, please, I will let you know when I'm available at home that you can visit.
Okay.
When probably I have tidied up, fine, then you can come. If not, I'm not around, we can talk on phone.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, if you, the same person, breaks down, the same people will say that, why didn't you talk about it? Why didn't you
Yes.
get the help you need?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe, for instance, if it's your living room and you have an inner room where you can have all the kids at the inner area and do all the mess there. So probably the place where somebody can come to is at the porch or somewhere. That place is left so better, so they don't come in to see the other side. It is you and your own self and your yes. Okay, and then let this one have their this thing and then they should go with it, because at the end of the day, it is a journey. It takes somebody who have been there to understand you.
Yes.
And don't be too hard on yourself.
Mm.
Do your best, but don't try to please everybody.
Everyone.
Don't try to please
Mm.
everybody. So, for instance, I had my mom-in-law coming to help me when I delivered.
Okay.
Okay, imagine that. Okay, and sometimes you just don't want to wake up. You wish you can be served in bed. You are
Yes.
tired, you're
Yes.
broken.
Yes.
But I need to get up and cook and do this and do that. Sometimes I tell my husband, please, I need help.
Mm.
I can't do this. If you don't, I don't know what to do. All
Mm.
right. And then I communicate with her. I tell her at a point now what I need and the help I need here and what I can do for now. And I
Mm.
apologize where I have to apologize. And we've grown. She loves that part. Instead of
Okay.
trying to act it out and be all that I have to be, it was just too much for me. Especially imagine a CS and doing all you have
Oh
to do.
God.
Right.
CS is
So
another issue.
you can you imagine that? So you don't have to let everybody be your trouble.
Okay.
Don't, because
Choose your trouble.
they you choose it very
Mm.
well. I
Mm.
remember I when we were even looking for accommodation at the point, I told my husband to look for a very far place. He said, why? I said, so when somebody is calling coming, they wouldn't just show up. Because I can't handle that pressure. Can you believe it?
That is
Oh
so
yes,
good.
I
That
had to
is
do
so
that.
good.
I did. He offended me, Abra.
No, me, bra.
Oh, when you visit once, I doubt if you show up again because I needed that. I just can't handle that. I go 1 minute, somebody is walking in, and
Mm.
I always have to pause, like you said, and run to meet an impression. And
Yeah.
I'm breaking down. I
Mm.
needed that break. I was tired. So, with three boys, and then the other one,
Yeah.
and then with mothers like that, the older ones, you begin to teach them.
Yes, I was actually coming
Yes,
to. I was
it's a
coming to
strategy
that.
you need to also look at.
I was
Yes,
coming to that. What kind of support now that they are older?
yes.
Even before they were older, your partner, your
Mm-hmm,
husband,
mm-hmm.
what kind of support was he offering? And now that
Yeah.
the kids are older, you're still a mom. You're still
Yes,
home. So
yes.
now what are they doing to help you as a mom?
I had to learn to do one thing I wasn't good at was communicate clearly, especially to my husband. So I had to learn it.
Okay.
Okay, and I realized when I did, it was helping. Women sometimes we assume they should know or they should
Exactly.
be able to understand that I need this, and that.
Yeah.
Look, even if you tell him to do this, please be specific with the details.
Okay. So
Respectfully,
please, can
you
you
let
sweep
him,
here for me instead of
yes,
saying please help me around the house?
he will help you by picking some clothing, put it there. He's done. You
Is
ask him
that
to help, he's helped
okay?
you.
Okay.
So please, I need help with the children. What is it that you need help with? Their homework. Please help them with it whilst I take care of this. Be specific about it.
Hmm.
Okay. Especially when you're overwhelmed, that is not a time to even ask for the help. You might lash out. You might be
Yeah.
angry. You might
Yeah.
say it in a way that men have their ego. It will
Yeah.
come across as a complaint, a
Disrespect or
disrespect,
yeah.
a command, and all that. Okay, so find a good time in which you are in, and probably sometimes even just sit and talk about how overwhelmed you are,
Mm.
how you would appreciate this, and that help. And when they do, you praise him for it. You will
Okay.
get more help. Okay, and then as the kids are growing, right from the begin to take their steps, and then they are growing 3 years, 5 years that way, you begin to train them in a way that they should understand that when you remove your shoes, you put them here,
Okay.
and you appreciate them, you praise them for it, and they get this swollen head and they want to keep doing because mommy likes it that way.
Okay.
You train them to, even as these ones were growing older, I trained them to lay their beds, to fold things in their room, to put their things right.
Around what age?
It depends. The boys are different.
Okay.
The girls kind of naturally wants to do something
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
The boys will do it today. Tomorrow you need to tell them. The next time you need to tell them. you you need to tell them and
Yeah,
keep
that's
telling them.
true.
And when they get it, it's beautiful how they do it.
Mm.
So you need to insist on it and tell them that this is what I want you to do. Me, depending on the age. So look at age appropriate tasks for them.
Okay.
It should be age appropriate.
Okay.
Okay, so and then I also realize some things that one love to sweep, to tidy up the room and all that. If you ask him to do dishes, he's so much in his head, he can't handle it. Another loves to be in the kitchen
Okay.
and help around,
Okay.
love to smell food, love to. So when I bring my veggies and stuff, I love the way you washed my veggies the last time. Take this, help me. And he enjoys it. Take a little of meat in your mouth, and
Okay. Okay. Motivation, eh?
yes, and that's an area. And the one who does the room, I said, look, you did this room. This I couldn't even find some of my earrings to date. They kind of tidy and clean and sweep everything, and it vanished, but it's part of it.
Yeah.
And I manage that alongside. Um, Another just doesn't want to do anything.
I think I know who that is.
He doesn't want. You said do this, you do it. Back to what he was doing. You call
Hmm.
this one, do it, you do it.
He
Back
can't
to
be bothered.
yes. So you manage them a lot, and as they are growing, you keep adding up. It's amazing when they grow. At that stage, you might think that when on earth would these kids be of any help to me,
Hmm.
or when would this thing end, or when would they get it? But trust me, stay with it, and then keep it up. As they grow up, you get to see the benefits of the things you
Hmm.
were putting in them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Mm.
That's wonderful. Um. So quickly, let's go to Facebook and take our comments. Okay, we don't have any questions yet, but we have Nanaya Wansa saying, "Nice one. Communication is key." We have Ignatius Tony Ishanovich saying, "Special gratitude to our guest and the host. I am loving the discussion. Too educative. Cheers to you." Thank you, and you can still bring in your comments and your questions now on YouTube. Let's see YouTube. We have Emmanuel Jamefi saying nice program. Rachel Dodunu saying nuggets of wisdom. Thank you all for watching. Emmanuel Jan saying wisdom. Lillian Povey saying yes, me time. And Emmanuel Hayford saying very insightful. Thank you all for watching. Please share the link. Tell your family members to all gather around the TV or phone on or tablet or whatever you are watching from. Now, this show has been sponsored, sorry, by Cocados Cuisine. Cocados has salads, detox packages, smoothies, Greek yogurts, parfait granola, wraps, sandwiches, juices, and the famous bougie Burkina. You can call or text on 0541 022 896. And if you want bougie appliances too in your kitchen, you can call on Appearance Trendy Wardrobe and Kitchenware. They have microwaves, kitchen stands, non-stick suspens, rice cookers, air fryers, blenders, and many kitchen appliances. They also sell kids' dresses, corporate dresses, casual dresses, outing dresses, church dresses. They have men's shirts, khakis, and jeans trousers and jeans shorts. They do nationwide delivery, and you can contact them, call or WhatsApp them on 0287 594 sorry 0208 759436, and these are our major sponsors for today's episode. So I'm going back to
Hello, Ankrato. Again, meeting you this time. We have learned words in previous episodes. Now, we are going to learn about short, interesting sentences. My name is. So if you are called Ebo, EBO, then place it wherever you like. So maybe Ebo, E, Ebo. My name is Ato, ATO. So Ato, so short, you can call me Ato, I will understand. When you do this, Ato, I will understand. My name is Efua. You see where I place the ifua to be different from that of Ebu. So ifua, you need to understand. So thank you for today. Thank you.
Some technical difficulties here in the studio. We are still on the topic of balancing motherhood and career. You can't be a superwoman, but you can balance it. You can learn to balance both and soar higher in both fields. So, I wanted to ask what your thoughts are on external help. I mean, I have had my fair share of bringing in external help to my home. What First of all, why didn't you lean
Mm,
on that,
okay.
avenue?
Right.
Because I know you could have.
Mm.
Uh-huh. And what would you advise young women? Do you think it's a thing that they should try
Yes,
and get, or
with today, the demand and like especially talking about being a career woman and balancing it with motherhood, you will need that external help.
okay?
You will need it unless it is such that you are a stay-home mom for a period and you know you can handle that. That is fine. That is different. I had my personal challenges because as a little girl, I had abuse from helps because of the demands of my mom. I had abuse.
Yeah.
So I carried that with me. No therapy, nothing.
Mm.
So I had my reservations when it comes to help already. And so, growing up and even thinking, I don't think it even crossed my mind to bring somebody in because I didn't have the trust for leaving somebody with my kids. All right. Then later, when I even did the full time, within a short period, I had to let the person go because I
Mm.
was monitoring the person so much
Yeah.
because of my experience growing up.
Yeah.
Then later, yes, I had to get help, external help. I had to do that in a way that at a point I had to get a place that was so close to my workplace, negotiate for a room there, have somebody paid to show up there in the morning, take care of my fresh baby whilst I was at work so that I can easily dash in there during lunchtime. I don't have to
Oh.
go so far. And when I close, the person closes. I take my baby, we go home
Oh.
whilst the older ones were in school. And then I pick them and then we go home. So at a point, I had to do that because when I was living far, I wasn't so comfortable because I didn't have cameras in the house at the time to see what's going.
Mm.
I just had this thing because of my childhood.
Yeah, because of your personal
Yes,
experience.
I just couldn't just bring
And they
myself
say
to that.
mothers, our instincts are mostly
Yes,
right. So
yes,
if you were feeling that way,
yes.
there was a high probability that
Yes,
something like that
yes.
was also going
So
on.
apart from that, I was also concerned about the care as well. But then when I got to realize the other schools were coming up, especially with the subsequent kids, I started making good use of that.
Mm.
Then get a teacher who is really close to baby, to the child, and then get to the number, calling, checking up on the child, how the child is doing. I come back, interact with the teacher. I don't just pick the child and go.
Okay.
How was the child during the day? Is he learning? What are the challenges? What observations do you have? So
Mm.
that you are filled in. You need that to balance your career, whatever you're doing.
Mm.
If you are not a stay home mom,
Mm.
you need it. So don't just leave the child, even if it's your own sibling, family that is home taking care of them. Even whilst you are away, you have a phone in there, you should call, check
Mm.
up on them, how are they doing? If anything, call me. Have they eaten at this time? You put schedules there.
Okay.
Cross check whether the things are being done the way you want them done.
Okay. So
Right.
we have some questions from YouTube.
Yes.
Comforts a champion is asking, ask whether, okay, she's asking me to ask whether you had any challenges telling the kids to do something their dad wasn't doing. So the kids were not seeing their dad do certain things like sweeping, washing dishes, and now you say, maybe Kojo, go and wash the dishes. Did the kids, or were you
Yes.
having any challenges with that?
I did. I did. These things they come because you have to also know. I didn't bring the wife role over there because it's a whole topic on its
Yeah.
own. It's a full-time one as well.
Yes.
Women do a lot.
I'll bring you back so that we
women
have that
do
discussion.
women do a lot. Okay, so that challenge is also there,
Mm,
but you have to understand at a point that this is your spouse. This is probably how he grew up. This is what he is comfortable doing.
mm,
Leave him. Let him
mm,
do what he can do. He is not your son or your daughter, or your son. Yes, respect that and let him.
mm.
If not, you will begin to try to instruct him to do that.
But what if the kids now
Yes,
use him as an excuse not to do things that
yes,
you asked them to
yes.
do?
So you draw the line for them.
Okay.
That is where the discipline, especially when they get to from 5 6 years going, that is where you have to begin to instill the values into them.
Okay.
The values in terms of letting them know what their responsibilities are, values of I'm sorry, this, because that is where you begin to train them.
Mm,
Their father probably gone to work, do this and doing that.
mm,
If their role as children, his role as a father should be two different things.
mm.
So yes, they can say they don't have to. Daddy didn't do this, so what has that got to do with you? No, you draw the
Exactly.
line for them.
Yeah.
You let them understand. You from especially the first 6 years, the second 6 years, they are not your friend. Oh,
Okay.
you are their mother.
Okay.
You draw the line when it comes to discipline with them.
Mm,
If you don't draw it into them, the 6 years, the second, the third 6 years, you're going to have challenges with them
mm.
because they will tell you to do, they want to do what they want to do when they want to do it.
Okay.
But they should have that balance with you.
Okay.
You draw the line. I say do this, you do it.
Okay.
You don't come and use your father as an excuse. No, for what
He's not
reason?
your age
He
mate.
is not. If he is doing that, he chose to wash plates. He chose to do this and that for us. You are now of age where you can do this. You get up and you do it because I say so. You
Hmm.
say yes, mom,
Yes, mom.
and you draw it for them. They get it and they respect it. As and when your husband is able to fill in and do it, you do it, and they now have to understand that daddy did that. I was supposed to do it, and I appreciate him. It is not
Mm.
his work. He
Okay.
did it for me, and thank you, dad. He has seen values and
Okay.
he appreciates it.
Hmm.
So draw that thin line for them.
So
Let
it
them be
comes
there.
down to you, the
Yes,
mom.
yes.
Mm.
So and work with your spouse as well,
Okay.
so that it's not conflicting with the children. They
Okay.
are very smart
Yes.
because when you say go and do the dishes, and daddy shows up and you say, if he doesn't feel like doing the dishes, leave him.
That's the thing.
When you do that, you have conflicted parenting. Parenting is a whole role altogether. The two of you need to do this. So, not in front of him. You call him behind the scene, not in front of the child. And
Okay.
say, please,
Mm.
if we do it this way, you will always have this child running to you because he feels I'm being to this thing. Mommy said do it. I need your voice on it to
Mm.
affirm what I have asked.
Mm.
But if you do this, you're giving the child options.
Mm.
At the end of the day, we will both suffer for it. When
Yes.
they get to certain stage, they won't do it because they expect you to come in. So the line should be drawn.
So the line should be drawn. I have a very funny question here. I've just been laughing to myself. So Emmanuel James says, I feel very uncomfortable leaving my kids with someone. She can be a witch. What can I do? Lady Crankson, what can
I
someone do?
hmm.
Because the person
Eh,
can be a witch.
it is not easy. Like I told you, I had my personal challenges.
Yeah.
Okay, I had my personal challenges because of house helps. Okay, and I had that at the back of my mind, and so yes, you have that challenge, but then let's draw the line between, is it a personal thing you have, or is an name state, or some things or clues you are getting that gives you that. Okay,
Hmm.
if it's personal thing, you need help with it. because there's a line we need to draw between if the person is not, but if it's your own personal things, okay, or you are having clues or something that makes you feel like that person, if he does, let the person go.
Mm.
Find what other options you have available.
Okay.
Okay. And sometimes let's be flexible. The options might come handy for a period, and after that you may not have that option again. Find out what is the next option you can have. Okay, and then make good use of that. Little by little they grow alongside it.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe not a
Okay.
permanent help, but
Okay. Our time
mhm.
is fast spent, but we have many
Oh
questions. Please quickly answer this for
yeah,
me. What can a partner or a husband do to help a career mother?
the husband.
Quickly, yeah.